Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I always publish on Rumble and I'm on these socials like Patreon for extra support. So, we got Computex going, a lot of interesting stuff here, but it's a lot to cover and I'm just picking up stuff that seems more interesting to me. One of these is like this MSI 2-color 12 power cable, the one with 60 pins, the new one that is giving a headache to gamers, best said like that. They basically did like a color matching here, so in the things where it's put in oh my god, the power supply and the GPU, there's like yellow coding here, and to all intents and purposes it is fitted correctly if you don't see the yellow thingy here, so like this images here. However, speaking about this issue with the I don't think it's about the power connect. It is and it isn't. We'll be seeing some more 4090s being burned, the connectors. There's not a drama, but some disagreements, let's say, between Gamers Nexus and the other camp, which is like Northbridge Fix, I think. It's a GPU repair guy, and to a certain extent J2 Cents, mainly because of how this thing is giving trouble to gamers. I agree that to a certain degree this is user error. The fact that in the connectors on the GPU are not sometimes not fitted properly, which gives the fact that the GPU wants more power, and if it's not fitted correctly, there is some resistance on the connections. More resistance on the connection, electric connection provides more heat, and that will more heat will start melting the plastic around the connector. However, I think, as you can see just by this kind of thing, I think the connector is very poorly designed. Mainly the size of this, how it is manufactured. As you can see, for example, the 12 this motherboard stuff, and then the CPU PCI Express stuff, all the other connectors have larger physical connectors, so it to a certain degree provides better flow of electricity per se. There is less resistance because there is more let's say metal for the electrons to pass, so there is less resistance to and less probability to have some kind of heat the heat melt the connection itself, the plastic. This is basic stuff from electrical stuff. The smaller the cable that you have, if you try to get through more current, it will start melting, and if you don't have any securities like breakers or something, it just melts and burns, and basically this is what happens. I think that this is poorly designed, especially for 600 watts of potential maximum wattage that goes through this cable. I think it was poorly designed. I think that for starters, this should be have kind of this like the motherboard. It passes 24. I don't think, I'm not sure, 24 amperes or something like that. And it gives, and I think the issue is also on the connector on the side of the NVIDIA. Mainly because theoretical this can be a safe cable, but when you poorly design something, and even if you induce error, user input error, it will start to you can only blame on the design itself. If you have a design that induces a lot of user error, the fault is on the design. So to a certain degree, no, to the full degree, it's the fault and responsibility of the companies so that introduced this connector. I think if this continues, I thought to a certain degree at the time with the Gamer Nexus stuff, it is a user error to a certain degree. The fact that it's not fitted properly, or if it has like, even if it is properly inserted, there was kind of some wiggle, a lot of people say. You cannot pass the responsibility of the design flaw to the user because it induces user error. So basically, trying to make it this as short as possible, this is basically, we are going to continue to see this, especially on 4080s, 4090s, and probably some 4080s, the ones that might be overclocked, I think, because they will need more power to overclock themselves. I think we will continue here and there seeing these kind of issues, even if it is fitted properly or not fitted properly, it doesn't matter, because if you, everybody can have a high degree of user error insertion of this kind of cables, because you don't see this kind of user errors on the 8AX motherboard stuff, from the PCI stuff, or the SATA cables. You don't see this. Mainly because it's low wattage, but the fact that the pins, when they are inserted, when you click, you feel the click, you know it's fitted properly. There is no more issues there. A lot of people with 4090s are afraid. Always, if you buy a $1,600 GPU minimum, and you're worried about it's going to burn up every day, it's not good. It's a good solution here, but it's not going to avoid the problem from MSI. I commend them for having an inventive idea, but this is not going to solve the problem. At least my perception of what I know about electricity and how it works. I was aircraft mechanic, so I work with smaller cables, electricity, voltages, amperages, all that stuff. So my basic understanding of how electricity works, I think we will continue to see this, especially on 4090s. So this is not a good solution because you don't see this. You didn't see this with the normal PCI Express 8-pin stuff. So yeah, that's my main takeaway. But let's continue. There is again a 4090. It is like between Cooler Master and PNY collaboration on the 4090, but yeah, it's a huge GPU, which is only enhances the issue here. You're needing like this kind of bulking coolers to cool the high demanding power GPU, and with this little connector, it's yeah. But this is a prototype. But it seems like it's going in the flow of the Noctua, yeah, the Noctua one and Asus, I think. But they did on the 4080. It's a 4.5 slot thickness, and it's very its height is very huge also. I don't know. This is not going to fit again in all cases. So I think if they manage to get a solution where it is like smaller and give kind of the same performance, it will be better. But yeah, this card is going to give more grievances in the near future. In other news, good news, AMD 7600X, I spoke that China market it got lowered the price. Now it's on Newegg. It's a promotion, so it's not a definitive cut on the price of the CPU. But yeah, it's around $200. I think it's with a coupon, yeah, promo code, this one. Yeah, it's a good entry-level CPU. Good for gaming, good for everything. It's an entry-level, new generation. Don't worry, this is not going to burn out. We already reached the conclusion that it's basically ASUS fault to a certain degree on their BIOS settings and everything, on the voltages settings and everything. In other news, we got sad news that crowdfunding website Fig is no more. This was a big site where for the launch of Psychonauts 2, Phoenix Point, and a lot of indie games. Even with Wasteland 3 also was launched on this game, on this platform. From what I can gather, it was acquired by one of those companies that just want profit, they just don't care. Yeah, by Republic in 2020. And of course, this kind of companies, they create private investment opportunities with high growth potential across startups, gaming, real estate, and crypto. They closed the site because it was not getting enough money for them, at least their quarterly earnings or whatever it is. This kind of sites, crowdfunding ones, they are not supposed to have infinite growth on for the shareholders. But yeah, it's a shame. I don't know how they're because the site is down. I think people that give money for games that basically invested on those games, they will start receiving emails from the publishers themselves because they don't have this platform now to communicate. But yeah, it's a sad news. This site managed to get some awards, even was preferable to Kickstarter and other sites for gaming crowdfunding. But yeah, I think people that already invested, I think there will not be like an issues of the money getting stuck. I don't know how, if people want refunds, how it's going to work. But yeah, if you by any chance went to this site to support someone, try to get in contact with the developer itself, or wait for a communication email from the developers that you help fund the game. The System Shock remake has come out. There is like reviews, very good. I watched like one or two, and also this one, very good remake. For all intents and purposes, everybody says it's very faithful to the original one. The original one is almost 30 years ago, so the graphics it's uncomparable. It's way better, but the feel seems in line with the original one. The only con, it's like I think the gunplay is not that great, but the rest is very, very, very good. It's what I have to say. I didn't play the original one, never had a chance to play, but it's on Steam. I think I will leave a link on the Steam link of the game if you are interested. I don't think they are going to launch with any kind of deal, but yeah, no stutters in terms of performance. Everything seems good. But yeah, it's a pretty good game, 8 out of 10. It's the average that I saw, so I think it's if you are interested, just go there. I have leave a link on the description regarding this game. Other news: The Witcher 3 surpasses 50 million copies, and the series itself 75 million. So Witcher 1 and 2 25 million, which is expected because the first game was not very well known. Even I had it is a rough game, the first one. The systems were not very streamlined, but it's a very good game on the story-wise and as an RPG. And then I play afterward the second one, and the third one I play like 4 times already when it came out. But yeah, good news that there is some kind of things that they didn't announce anything regarding the quarterly earnings calls. They didn't tell anything about Cyberpunk, but the Cyberpunk has been selling well from the latest information that we had, except this meeting. They just, I think they want to give the spotlight to the Witcher franchise, and maybe when they are basically waiting for the DLC for Cyberpunk to get big announcements or something like that, for sure. We got The Last of Us Part 1. There is PureDark managed to inject DLSS free on this game and supposedly doubles the FPS. However, the game itself, it's way better. I managed to catch up with Digital Foundry game regarding performance wise. This is like 10 days ago, so it includes the latest patch and everything. It's a little better in terms of performance, but still there is a lot of CPU optimization that needs to be done. There is, like, even in cutscenes, there is some stuttering here and there, but overall in terms of textures is way better. There is less performance hiccups, but there is here and there some CPU optimizations that need to be done. The textures also are relatively better than the original launch, and they they take less VRAM also. So it's good. It's good news, but not all good news. But yeah, if you have an NVIDIA one, you might try DLSS 3 if you have if the GPU can handle it. But yeah, it seems to even with DLSS can smooth out, but because it's a CPU issue, I don't think it will remove all stuttering in everywhere. But yeah, at least it's a fix, it's a mod. That's why I love PC community, because there is in most games there always a mod that you can insert on the game. Even can be a performance mod or can be like a texture mod or whatever it is to make the game a better experience. In the news, supposedly Elden Ring was originally going to get 2 DLC expansions. It's a rumor. It's this hacker Lance McDonald. But yeah, mainly one of the things, it's because they tell this because one of the expansions was centered about the Colosseums. Again, I don't know anything about Elden Ring. Basically, I know there was like an update for PvP regarding Colosseums. I think it's like battle arenas, but I think one of the expansions was focused on this one. But I think there is even with after they launched the PvP stuff for Colosseums, there is like lackluster content for this kind of thing. At least people that are playing, they say it misses something. There should be something more there. The way the Colosseums are set up, because I don't know how they are set up. I really want to play this game when I get my new PC. But to a certain degree, this is good because now they are basically focusing on only Shadow of the Earth 3. I don't know, after they launch this DLC, they can improve on the Colosseum stuff, probably. But yeah, they have this one, they have the Armored Core 6 to focus on to launch in October, I think. So yeah, this is basically a rumor, so we'll see how it goes. We're going to wrap up with some gaming deals. We got Ash of Gods Redemption, the sequel to this game, kind of, or it's not a sequel, was on the deal the other day. Now the original one per se, it's 75% off. This is a very decent game. I don't know why there is, it's only 17 mixed ones, but the game is pretty good. It's a little bit the art of the, how they call the other Banner Saga thing. It's tactical, you got RPG, you got the story, some choices here. It's very in line with this kind of Banner Saga style, but it's very decent. The story, it's interesting. And then you have the other game, which is The Way, Ash of Gods The Way, something like that it is called. Yeah, Ash of Gods The Way, which is like something 20 something years after the end of this first game. But it's a pretty decent game if you like card stuff and the RPG and some choices. It's a pretty decent game. Also, we got this Ravenswatch. It's attention, this is an early access game, so if you don't like to take chances, but it's 10% off. It's a cheap game. Mostly positives. It's around the almost 80% mark. It's an early access game again, so that's some caveats here. They are still working on it, but the combat, which is kind of similar to Hades, it's very good from what I've read regarding this game. If you want to try it out and give it a shot, 10% off. Then we got Red Redemption 2. It's 70% on the Ultimate Edition and 67% on the base game here. Again, it's Red Dead Redemption 2. Very positive reviews overall, so you know what you can count on with a Rockstar game. I'm very curious to play this game also, mainly because it's an RPG, open world, all that good stuff. And finally, we got Marvel's Midnight Sun, 50% off again. It's been in promotion very. I think the last one was like a couple of months ago. I think the last time that was on promo, this game. But it's a very good game, XCOM style, but with cards, not trading cards, deck building. Very good game. The story is pretty decent, very interesting. You don't need to buy any, just ignore these kinds of things of the credit stuff. You can passed by the game even in harder difficulties without paying for this. I think this is like something that 2K managed to insert here, but in terms of gameplay, you will not need this one. It's very good. The story, the very addicting gameplay here. You got the strategy layer also very good and similar to XCOM stuff. So it's pretty good. It's a recommendation for me. I watched the Christopher Odd's Dark Hunter gameplay of the base game, and the new characters have good additions on the gameplay itself and the story arcs of the characters that they added on the DLC. And basically this is it for today, guys. I will wrap up with my GoFundMe for me to upgrade my PC to get better, more content for my private clients and start doing some video stuff for them also. And in my free spare time, doing the daily videos, doing some scripted content for some deep dives, resuming my gameplay series, and probably in the near future doing some live streams here and there. And with all that said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.